Hello, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to this week's update. Maybe the last one for a little while. Next Friday, I fly back to the UK for 2 weeks. First week will be at Centre Parks with the family, which is very exciting. We've got one local to us. And second week, I'm going to be very busy. Got some DIY jobs to do. The wife, she's already creating a list for me, and then it'll be out in the woods and in the garden doing lots of jobs out there. So action-packed 2 weeks. I'll no doubt bring you an unboxing video though, maybe in lieu of an update. And if I can squeeze an update in next week, then maybe I'll do that if there's anything that's been announced, any news or anything like that to bring you. So maybe another chat video next week. What I am doing is I have started editing the Norseman video finally, because this little thing, the project is finished. I'll talk about that in a second. It's probably going to be a two-parter, the Norseman, very quick intro and then into the construction. Lots to talk about in that one. It's not an easy kit to put together. There's some fit issues that I had to resolve, and hopefully that'll be of benefit for people who want to tackle that particular kit, or excuse me, or maybe just in general, because there's some sort of cutting, trimming, filling, sanding, scribing, blah 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 blah. So something for everyone, I hope. And then part 2 will be the painting and weathering, how to paint and weather a bright yellow aeroplane, which, you know, could be a bit of a challenge. So there we go. That is coming hopefully very soon. And then it's into editing this lump. This is the project that I've been working on. I've been a little bit coy. Many of you know I've been doing an Eduard Tempest, but I was keeping the scheme a little bit under wraps because I wanted to do like a bit of a reveal. So I've had a lot of interest, as you can imagine, a lot of discussions about the model. This is a Sea Tempest. What if? Some people thought it was actually real. But the blurb I put was basically that Bristol was struggling with getting the Centaurus reliable enough. The airframe didn't really work. And as a stopgap, Hawkers said, well, why don't we modify the Tempest and you can have that as an interim. And this is it. This is the result. In Korean War markings, it's got a tailhook, and I modified the bottom of the rudder. The tailhook is from an Airfix Sea Fury. And yeah, did a loadout, had the brass in rockets, but I couldn't really get them to work. Just the photo etch mountings were just way too fiddly and defeated me. So ended up using the kit ones, perfectly fine. Few little extras. So I was going to use the Barracuda Studio seat, but unfortunately, so fine, there was a bit of damage to the seat and I couldn't use it, which is a real shame because the back padding is just beautiful on that. But what I did use Barracuda were the Sea Fury wheels and also the radiator gubbins in the front. What else did I use? HGW seatbelts. Sent me doolally. Absolutely fine in 32nd, but in 48th, really, really fiddly. And to be honest, they look great, but I'm not sure the juice is worth the squeeze, as we say. I'd probably, in 48th, be more than happy to stick with photo etch in the future. Right, the rest of it, I think it's pretty much straight from the box, really. It's a beautiful kit. If you haven't built one, do so. Go ahead. I modified the airframe slightly. It's molded with raised rivets in some lines down the fuselage, which is prototypical. There were lines of raised rivets down the fuselage, but for my taste, they're just a little bit too thick. So I sanded all those off, and I just did it with a rivet wheel, so it's all consistent. And who knows, maybe the Sea Tempest, they use flush rivets down on their rear fuselage. it's a made-up aeroplane, so, you know, there we go. The what else did I do? Yeah, there's just pitot probe here because I had the master barrels, gun barrel set for the Tempest Mark II. So that came with the sort of modern day type pitot probe rather than the Dewberry under the wing. So I bunged that on. Added the little fusing tails for the rockets. They're all dangling down at the correct angle. The undercarriage, the main legs were the brass ones from Brassin. That set comes with a full set of resin gear doors, which are really quite fine actually, and are beautiful. So yeah, really pleased with the way the brass undercarriage worked. Big fan of those. And the yeah, all the plastic gubbins fit really, really well. The wheels fit really well. Just a little bit of drillage, just so to match the hole to the axle. But hopefully that should be really nice and strong and robust now. No seams to clean up. Just lovely. So highly recommend the brass undercarriage set. Talking of ordnance, I mentioned the rockets. I did use the Eduard decals for that. This is the Overtree set. So literally just the plastics in a plain white box. I printed off the instructions from the website. And I used the, like I say, the Brassin decals for the rockets. I wanted to paint the markings. I had a Montex set. But I really, really, really was... I'm very unhappy about how I painted the roundels. I must have warped somehow the masks, and they're just a bit wobbly and they look crap, frankly. So luckily I had some Barracuda set of decals which are printed by Cartograph, and I was a little bit worried because the rivet detail is so fine on this that I thought, oh, it's going to be really difficult to get everything to conform. I have to say, I used a bit of the Mr. Hobby setter, and then I used the Tamiya Mark Fit Strong as a solvent over the top. Literally within 20 minutes, everything had sucked right down into all the details, all the panel lines, all the rivets, and I didn't really had to touch them at all. So I was really pleased with that. The codes and the little Royal Navy blah on the side, that was the decals. The codes I had to chop up to match the serial. The serial under the wings are sprayed. The aeroplane number, the 110, and the aircraft carrier letter identifier were sprayed. And I cobbled together, I just used some of the other decals on the nose, some bomb markings, mission markings, things like that. What else did I do? Oh, I did just replace the aerial mast from the wartime Tempest with a 0.1mm silver nickel wire from Albion Alloys for the whip aerial at the back, because I thought that was more in keeping with the post-war. And I also replaced the aerial, I think it's the IFF aerial under the fuselage, replaced that with a bit of brass rod. The napalm tank, so a lot of people really like what I did with that because that's really dented. Some people thought it was a fuel tank, and I totally understand that, but if you look at a lot of images of Mustangs in Korea, the napalm tanks they used were really severely dented, and I wanted to reproduce that effect on this. So maybe this aeroplane, maybe they're doing shuttle missions, so take off from the carrier, conduct a strike, land ashore, refuel, rearm, and then do another strike and then land back on the carrier. That's the kind of concept I had in my mind. So this is having been refueled and rearmed ashore, and I really wanted that dented effect. So what I did is I just took a lighter and very gently warmed up the plastic and then dented the plastic. I went overboard on the bottom a little bit too much. So what I did is I got some Tamiya epoxy putty, and I put that in the dent just to fill it out a bit, and then I shaped more dents around that, and that worked really well. I was really pleased with how that came out. And then just around I did all the other little dings, just literally gouging it out with the scalpel and then sort of blending in the gouges and things like that to try and get a nice realistic dented effect. And I think it worked really well. I'm really pleased with how that turned out. And I'm looking forward to doing the Armour Hobby Mustang when that gets released, the D, right at the back end of the year, because I'm going to be doing that as a Korean War version. And I'm going to recreate all the dents and things like that as well. I did my usual painting, weathering on it, sludge wash, and then quite a lot of oils actually, especially in the underside. I wanted it really grubby on the underside, so that's been really dirtied up, mainly with oils. A tiny bit of post shading, did the old splattering as well. A bit of an exhaust stain. The exhaust actually, I'd forgotten to get some resin replacements. I had to drill those out, but yeah, that was fine. The spinner, I've measured the spinner and it's exactly the same diameter in the kit as a Airfix 5-bladed Sea Fury prop. So I'm toying with the idea of replacing the prop with a 5-bladed Sea Fury arrangement. Maybe. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But there we are. Really interesting model, I think. Like I say, it's kind of triggered off a lot of conversations on Facebook. I posted it, obviously, on my page, on the Barracuda page, because I used a lot of Roy's bits, and I really like his Barracuda page. And in one or two other pages as well. And it's garnered a lot of discussion, which I'm really pleased with. I love it to bits. One of my favourite models I've done. You know me, I love a what if, and I like a credible what if. And this is it. And I think it really suits the scheme really well in that sort of post-war extra sea grey sky, and especially with the invasions, well, kind of invasion stripes, theatre markings, as we would call it. And yeah, I'm really, really pleased with how that's turned out. What I will do is put a little montage right at the end of the video with to music, and you can see some sort of detailed shots of that. Right, so the bench is clear. Now, I'm filming this on Friday, and I fly out next Thursday night, and I've got this editing to do. I want to get the Norseman done. I want to get this done. And then if I've got any time left, what I will do is I will start finishing off the 72nd Mustang from Eduard. That's in the box up there. It's not really a Shelf of Doom. It kind of got... well, kind of is a Shelf of Doom, I suppose. It got put to one side because I was going to do the second one in the boxing as a Korean War one without realising that they're two different fuselages, and the one that was left was no fillet on the tail. So I can't do a Korean War version from that. So that I brought the decals back with me back from home when I went home at Ramadan. Got some Eduard decals actually, as it turned out, because I really wanted the mix of the natural metal and the olive drab, the mix of the two. So I'm going to do that one. If I've got any time left, I'll crack on with that. Clearly it's not going to get finished because I do want to get all the editing done. So I'm acutely aware there hasn't been any modelling content on the channel for a little while since Armour April finished. So nothing in May at all. So I do want to give you something. So I'm going to concentrate on the editing, and then if I've got any time left, like I say, hopefully I just need to really do the canopy or the windscreen, bung that on, mask it up, and that should be ready for paint. If not, I'll finish that off when I get back. Right, talking about when I get back, right, the Airscale Defiant, still not released yet. I'm getting a bit nervous now because, like I say, I'm home in a week's time and I'm only home for 2 weeks. So Peter's got 3 weeks to get that to me. I'm paying for it. I'm buying it, and that will come to the channel. In the meantime, Jen from Genesis Designs and Modelcraft, she's a good friend of mine. I've known Jen for many a year now. So she's doing the Airfix Defiant in her beginners build series thing, so that's really inspirational. So I'm following that one, and yeah, really looking forward to getting my teeth stuck into that. Talking about getting my teeth stuck into things, Laminar Flow Design, Matthew, he is releasing on the, I think it might even be today. If it's not today, I think it might be next week, the 1/24th scale Spitfire Mark 14 conversion for the Airfix Mark 8. And he's doing other projects as well. He's working on, I think, a 1/18th scale kit from scratch. He's also doing a FW190D. It's either 11 or 13, I forget which, nose conversion. So Matthew's very, very busy. But I am getting one for review, so I'll bring that to you. And what I'm going to do is do a side-by-side comparison, because the 30-second one, it's still there in the box, ready to go. That is going to be done very soon. But what I will do is I will show you the difference in size between them, and then I'm going to start collecting bits to do the Airfix kit, which is probably going to be done next year. I've got the bubble top to do in 30-second from Matthew. I've also got the Mark 5 conversion to do as well. So lots of Laminar Flow Design conversions to do, which is can only be a good thing. So yeah, but I really want to do before I do the bubble top, I will start collecting bits for the 24 scale one, because I think that'll be interesting, and it will probably be a clipped wing version, purely for space. Right, Magic Factory have announced a 1/48 scale F4U Corsair Mark II, the British one, Fleet Aeron one. So obviously based on their recent tooling of the American version. The differences with the British version was they had clipped wingtips because the hangers had lower ceilings, and the standard tips wouldn't fit in the hanger, folded up, because obviously sort of American aeroplanes tended to do that, certainly the later ones, whereas the British ones kind of folded up like a dead pigeon. And Fulmars and Barracudas and things like that. Obviously C5 did that, up like that. But yeah, so they had clipped wingtips, and also there was a few little air scoops around as well. Now MDC, back in the day, Bob, he did a British Corsair conversion with clipped wings and the little scoops. So if you can still get hold of one of those, that'll have the scoops in there for you. Not so sure about the wingtips. I'd have to double check sort of the Magic Factory parts when we get to see those. But that's really interesting. What I'm hoping is it's not just a redecal. I know they don't have the scoops in there, which is a bit of a shame. If they don't have the wingtips, that's a bit of a shame as well. However, it's easy. I've done it in 70-second with the Tamir kit. You just cut them off, bit of reshaping. It's really quite easy. I didn't bother doing the scoops. There we are. I thought I'd mention that. Right, and the last thing is Airfix, news from Airfix. Out now, today, is the COD Gannet. I know quite a few people have been waiting for this version because they want the sort of dark blue version, which I think is really quite smart. Limited weathering opportunities, and it's going to be really tricky, I think, to kind of make that look, not make it look realistic, but if you're into your weathering, an all over dart subject is actually quite difficult to do. But I know lots of people have been waiting for that version. They're also re-releasing the Scout little armoured car thing, which has been massively popular. I know I've seen interviews with Dale, the branch manager. Oh god, his title has just disappeared out of my head. Someone's going to tell me in the comments below. I know. Brand manager. He's in charge. Yeah. Anyway, plenty of interviews with Dale saying that Airfix were completely blown away with the response by that. Like sold out really quickly. They were blown away, which is probably why they were doing the they were tempted to do the Saladin and whatever it's called, the 6-wheeler thing, which I never even heard of that vehicle when that was announced. I was like, what is this? I thought it was a modern thing. No, it's actually quite old. Looks like something out of Thunderbirds, I think. Now there's a what if to do, isn't there, with that? And yeah, judging by the comments when that was released, that's going to be just as popular as the Scout. So if you missed out on the Scout first time round, you can go and get one of those kits. There we are. That is it. Green Book is closed. Watch out on the channel then. So I'm going to try and get part 1 of this Norseman out for you by Sunday. The part 2 will be the Sunday after that, and then we're into the Tempest. I don't know how many parts that's going to be. Might be able to keep it down to 2. It might spread out into 3. We will have to see. But, 2 or 3 parts on that. So that's the next kind of 4 weeks done. And then what I might do is release part 1 of the Mustang, because I've got a lot of footage of that already, so I can start editing that. And then I'll finish that off, and then that will paint weather, so there might be a little bit of a gap before that appears. And then I'll make a decision on what I'm going to do next. Is it going to be the 32nd scale Defiant? Is it going to be the 32nd scale Spitfire 14 conversion? Or is it going to be the 32nd scale F18, which I'm doing for my mate Dalla, who's leaving in November. So I've got a bit of a deadline on that. We shall see. That's going to be wheels up, in flight. A bit of a departure for me, and I'm actually going to paint him and stick him in the cockpit. So I'll be doing a figure as well. So lots of 32nd scale goodness coming after quite a lot of 72nd scale we've had on the channel. Right, I'm going to leave it there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Handster editing stations. And it's going to be quite tedious, but, I'm here to serve. If you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, all the new subscribers, hello, welcome, thanks for clicking. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, do so. If you are a subscriber, please start watching some of the videos. It's interesting that my subscribers outstrip my view count by about 4 or 5. It's a bit odd. So people subscribe and then don't watch. It'd be great if it's the other way around. So if you are new to the channel, go and have a look at the back catalogue. Have a look at some of the other videos that are out there. Give me your feedback. What would you like to see coming soon? It would be great to hear from some new people. Bit of a fresh input on what you'd like to see. Do you like the formats? Could I tweak it? Is there anything else you'd like to see as well? Right, there we are. Leave it there. That's all the YouTube dump out the way. And I'll see you very soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.